Assalamualaikum.
Hi, Amina.
Assalamualaikum. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Alhamdulillah.
Mikhail, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you see us?
I can see you. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm still having problems with my screen. Let me see.
If you dial in with your phone at the same time, so like it'll be like a fourth dial in. You'll have you could join in with your phone, so then we could see you on the phone, and then you could see all the stuff I'm sharing on the computer too.
I can see everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 7 o'clock on the dot. We're gonna get started, inshallah, because I'm not playing with this stuff. So, Bismillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Bismillah. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna share my screen right now. Bismillah. So just to begin, I just want to begin with the ground rules. So again, just show up 15 minutes time box. I really want to thank you guys for coming before we started at 7. So being here at 7 o'clock on the dot. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Kamala.
Walaikum salam. Can you hear me?
Yep. Alhamdulillah. So like I said, inshallah, I'm going to be starting 7 o'clock sharp, and I promise you I will end at 7:15 sharp. So it's time box. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, cool. So number 2, ask questions. There is no dumb question. So please ask questions. Don't feel shy or anything. I'm going to try to go as slow as I can. But just realize that any question you think is dumb, trust me, there's someone else was thinking of that question. So don't ever feel shy to stop me or anything like that. And then the third thing is, keep your video and your audio on. I know Brother Mikhail, he's having, there's some issues with the video, but inshallah we'll work to fix that. And that's it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So we do have there, my friend Kelsey is also going to be joining. She's probably going to be joining like any minute now. I know she was running late, but she's going to be joining soon. And my wife's brother, he was supposed to be joining. In fact, we actually made this timing more so kind of for him, but something happened, and I don't think he's going to be making it today. And then my sister-in-law from Albany was supposed to be joining. I don't know if she's going to join or not. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get started, get right into it. So today, I just want to talk about goals. The goals of really the program that I want to do for you. And by the way, I'm recording all the sessions, so that way you guys can always review this later. So there's really 6 classes, essentially, that I'm going to do with you guys. The first class is PM 101, which is straight up basics. Just giving you a really good layout of the land of project management. Everything from general project management to actual IT project management and everything in between. The second course, which is the Scrum Master course, that's very specific to a really hot IT project management field. It's called Agile, and being a Scrum Master falls into the Agile category. And I'm going to be that's going to be a second course, and I'm going to and when I deep dive into that, that's where I'm going to be talking about how to organize technical teams, how to actually do tracking, organizing, scheduling, using the tools that Agile project managers use, all that good stuff. I'm going to walk you through that, and it'll be a fun class, inshallah. And that's like where a lot of the 50% of your knowledge will be in that class. Projects, that's going to be a fun class as well, inshallah, if it all works out. I'm going to have you guys do legitimate projects, legitimate meetings, getting used to like actually organizing, scheduling, doing the reports. It's going to be like hands-on. And whatever you do in the projects, I'm going to actually add it to the resume we're going to work for you. So that way, when you have a resume, you're not going to be lying. You're going to actually have legitimate work. So when you're going to interviews, you're not going to feel like you're lying because you will have done the work. So it's going to be good. So that's kind of like the foundation. Then the second level, that's where we're going to get much more deeper. So that's going to be a technical deep dive. I'm saving that for later just because you don't need to know any of that stuff initially. But when I do the technical deep dive, I'm going to explain very deeply, like what is an API, for example, what's a, what's this technical thing like for how does a web application actually work? And so that way, when you're dealing with teams and they ask you, hey, do you know this? Do you know that? Even though you don't need to know how to code, you just need to be able to know what those words mean. So that's going to be like vocabulary, basically. So you can speak to speak, talk to talk. And then the resume, that's basically, I'll help you guys, inshallah, doing your resume. And then I'm also going to help you guys get your LinkedIn set up. So the resume and the LinkedIn will go like hand in hand. And then the last phase, the interview phase, is really fun. I'm going to help you guys. Hey, Kelsey.
Hi, I'm here.
All right, cool. So the last phase is the interview phase, and I'm going to help you guys doing interviewing, which is going to be like everything from like, I have this really crazy way of applying for jobs, which everybody thinks is insane, but it really works. So I'm going to teach you guys that technique, inshallah, on how to like get jobs, get interviews really fast. It's like a very quick, fast. You're going to be doing like interviews like 5 to 10 times a week, which is like 50 times more than other people. So I'm going to teach you these techniques, and then we'll do like interview prep. I'll have you guys pairing up with each other, so you guys are practicing with each other, sharing feedback with each other as a team. So it'll be really fun. And in that phase, I think you guys are going to grow a lot, and stuff like that. So that's really the overview. So Kelsey, I was just kind of like going over the 6 different courses I'm going to teach you guys, starting from the very top, which is the foundation, and then the middle 2 classes is kind of like getting you ready, and then the last course is really like hands-on, helping you guys like interview and get ready for jobs and stuff.
All right.
Any questions here?
No, I don't think so. Not for me.
Okay, cool. So for this first course that I'm going to be teaching you guys, it's going to be project management 101. So this is kind of like the syllabus that I came up with. I'll probably add to this, but as of now, this is kind of like generally what I'm thinking. So firstly, I'll talk about general project management. Has anybody heard of PMP before? It's like a certificate. So when you're looking for project management jobs outside of IT, like construction, like financial, healthcare, all these other industries, they typically ask people to have something called a PMP, which is like a certificate, which is really hard to get. It takes forever. Takes like 2-3 years to get it and stuff. Luckily for us, in IT project management, nobody cares about that. But anyways, I'm going to give you guys an overview of what that is. Then
I'm sorry, what does the PMP stand for?
It stands for project management. I can't remember.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I just like to know what things stand for. That's okay.
Cool.
I'll look it up.
So IT PM. So the second thing is I'm going to talk about for tech companies. There's something called waterfall and something called agile. So I'll go into that. And then there's something called so waterfall. Then the third class will be waterfall. I'm going to do a deep dive, explain exactly what that means for classes and courses. I mean, for like at companies, because they're always going to ask you. That's a typical interview question. People will be like, "What's waterfall?" And so I'm going to kind of walk you through that. Then the fourth thing I'm going to talk about is agile. Because everything I'm going to teach you is going to be agile. So I'm going to do an introduction, very soft introduction, and tell you about the history of agile, what are the benefits of using this. And agile, basically in a nutshell, is software. It's a software development methodology. So yeah. And then types of agile. There's lots of different types of agile. So I'm going to be walking you guys through that. And then number 6, I'm going to give you guys like a day in the life of a agile project manager. So I'll talk about like eBay versus startups. It'll be really fun. I could actually schedule around that time. I could actually have you guys secretly join one of my meetings at Verizon and like share my screen, so you guys are like kind of quiet, but you guys are listening into a real project manager, like managing projects. So you could kind of like see the real deal at a real company, which will give you a unique opportunity. You know, our cousin Yusuf, he's working at Comcast, so he could do the same thing, and that way you get a feel for like Verizon versus like Comcast. My wife's at a startup company, so maybe she could do that too, and I'll give you like an idea of how it works, like what's a day in the life of like somebody working at a startup company. And then number 7, I'll talk about like company teams, and like all the companies, usually there's like an organizational structure where you have like IT versus like project management, and then you got like your sales and business folks. So I'll kind of like do an overview of like how teams are structured and how they kind of like work together. And then number 8, I'll talk about how an actual web application works. So what that means is like, you know, like if you had an iPhone app and you click on buttons, like what happens? Like what actually happens when you click the button, like in the back end. So like there's this idea of like the front end, which is like all the stuff you click, and then the back end, which is like all the databases and stuff in the back end. So I'll talk about like, I'll give you like a nice clean overview. Something that, by the way, for 10 years of working in IT, I never understood it until I dropped like $16,000 to $20,000 to take like a engineering boot camp, and I finally understood it. But I realized it was so simple. I could literally teach it like, to you guys like in like 2-3 classes. So inshallah, I'm going to give you guys like a high level overview of that. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about front end teams versus back end teams. Like what are typical projects that a front end team would work on versus like a back end team, which is like databases and stuff. What do they work on? So you have an idea. And then with that, that'll kind of close up the general project management, because then you'll have a really good idea of like what project managers do and all the different companies and a day in the life, etc. And after that, then we'll go into like the next course, which is like Scrum Master. And that's the course we'll probably spend like a month, maybe 2 months, depending on how fast we go. Because that's like the real meat of the entire thing. Once you get the Scrum Master thing down, you're actually ready to interview. Like once you understand that. But I'm going to take you guys even further, obviously, and I'm going to help you guys understand more technical stuff, and I'm going to help you guys understand, I'm going to help you guys with your resumes, obviously, your LinkedIn, all that good stuff, and we'll go from there. I know we only have 3 minutes left. I just wanted to end on this note, that I was talking to my wife, and she said that like just literally one of her friends paid around $5,000 just to get a little bit of knowledge in terms of like some business analyst or project management, like an overview, and then to have somebody basically write up their resume. And the person dropped, like, he was actually a neighbor of ours, literally dropped $5,000. That was like, they didn't have any help with interviewing, any help with like, nothing else. And that was just 5 Gs. Somebody else, another family cousin basically spent close to, I think, it wasn't 15, it was $4,000 on a product management, like BA class, where they learn how to become a product manager, and then somebody added them to their company. And then I dropped $16,000 to learn how to actually do software development. So this stuff, like, definitely, like the stuff I'm sharing with you, like, I'm doing it just free, just because you guys are family, you guys are friends. But the stuff I'm teaching you guys is extremely valuable, for sure. Obviously, I can't guarantee that you're going to get a job. It really depends on everything from how the job market is to how well you could sell yourself, to like how well this stuff. But I'm confident because I've worked with all of you actually at one point or another. And I've seen kind of like how you guys run things. Like Kamala, for example, I've seen you at the retreat. Kelsey, I see on a regular basis. Mikhail, a good friend of mine from California, who I know Amina, obviously, I see you also on a regular basis. So I know how all four of you kind of interact and work, and I'm pretty confident that you guys could get a job simply because of this. I'll end on this, because 90% of what they're looking for is somebody that could speak English clearly, and that could like basically run a meeting and keep people like on time. Like if you got people skills, basically, you're rock solid. If you know how to speak English, keep people on time, run meetings, you're good. Everything else, like I could teach you. Like that, all this technical junk and stuff, that stuff I could teach you. So that's why I feel like, you guys are gonna be good. It's 7:15. I know I didn't leave any time for Q&A, but I'm gonna end now. I've recorded this. I'm gonna share this video. We'll meet back tomorrow at the same time at 7 o'clock, and I'm gonna jump back in. So that's it for right now. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the video. And I'm sorry, tomorrow I'll leave more time for Q&A. All right, everybody, take care.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.